folks, a very good morning to you on this, the 11th day of March 2019. Now, I know that I wouldn't be surprised if I see, some late arrivals this morning because as far as you guys are concerned, George is getting started at a different time. Nah, George is actually getting started at the same time. You're actually coming on board at a different time because you guys moved your clocks forward on the weekend. Some people are a little bit confused about what time we're actually getting cranked up here. Well, for us, still 9 o'clock, Grenada time, Grenada Mad time, local time. Good to see you anyway. Thanks a lot for joining us. Pilgrims, a lot cooking here this morning, and we are going to get right into it. Yeah, let's get started. Let's get started. First of all, just hang on a sec here for a minute. Just hang on a sec. First of all, I have the results of last week's Public Workers Union elections. Even though there was a lot of talk about this in the run-up, once the results came out, seemed like there hadn't been much brouhaha about that. Well, I'll share the results with you. Something we're going to do this morning is something I just felt compelled to do, and that is bring you a rebroadcast of a portion of yesterday's program, Sundays with George Grant. There's an investor who has bid farewell to Grenada after 10 years in this place. And he's left behind a letter to the people of this country. It's a very sad story, very sad story. And because of the reaction yesterday, not just on social media, but the phone calls after the program and all that, I thought I would run that by you again this morning. We also have the national report. I'm still toying with the idea of exactly when I'm going to play the national report this morning because the letter that I'm about to read to you in a few minutes, it's kind of lengthy. And I don't want to keep Valerie waiting. Valerie is actually going to try joining us live this morning. The past couple of weeks, we have actually pre-recorded her visits, but this morning we're going to try. Hope the kayak internet holds up. All right? So she's going to join us live. Now, here's how they voted last week. Yeah, man, the Public Workers Union, they had their big elections. It so wound up that Rachel Roberts retained her presidency of the union. Next was Dr. Devon Francis. He is now the first vice president. Arthur Peer is the second vice president. Paula Phillip is the treasurer. Agatha Alexis is the secretary. Daisy Hazard is the public relations officer. Apparently Daisy is replacing Mr. Brian Grimes, who was the person challenging Rachel Roberts. And the assistant secretaries are Deanna Isaac, she's from Carriacou, and Margaret Goddard. Okay, there you have it, the results of last week's Public Workers Union elections. Now, 4 minutes after the hour, Annette Ragbus, Annette's first up this morning on Facebook. She's saying, good morning, George and Grenada. Well, good morning to you too, Annette. Good to see you. Peter Bishop is saying good morning from Long Island. John Kennison is saying GMT, Grenada maybe. Good one. Good one, John. GMT. Some people say Grenada mad time. John says Grenada maybe time. Lydia James is saying good morning. And John is saying, good morning, George and crew, from a very sunny dependency number one. You notice he no longer calls it parish number 7. He got his butt chewed off last week. Serves you right, John. And then there goes our good friend Margaret saying, good morning, everyone. Now, folks, I want you to sit and listen to this. Don't be misled into believing that every investor who comes to Grenada has a grand old time. Sure, you've got good, you've got bad investors. Just like you've got good and bad politicians. But one of the things I have learned since returning to this country is that this tiny little nation desperately needs the help, genuine help of people who are being turned away. Many well-intentioned investors are being turned away from this place for a myriad of reasons. Yesterday, we said goodbye to one of them. But before leaving, he shared a farewell note with the Grenadian people. I read it on the air yesterday, and for those of you who were not around to hear it, I'm about to do a rebroadcast of that segment for you. If you heard it, it's worth hearing again. And by the way, just a little footnote here. Many of you remember a tiny little radio station here which created an enormous impact on this country. It was called Chime FM. Yeah. He was the key person in bringing that to reality. I'd been scrunting for years trying to get that off the ground. It was finally this gentleman who helped to make it a reality. And now he's gone. Check this out. You often hear Grenadians talk about how investors, foreign investors, have it so easy in this place, They seem to get all the perks, and, those of us locals, we're scrunting, trying to get things going. By and large, that's true to a great extent. But what you're about to hear, folks, is a very sad story about somebody I've come to know over the last 4-5 years. This gentleman is a foreign investor who's been living here for the last 10 years or so. But guess what? He's had enough. He's decided to pack his bags, take off. Yeah. He has written a letter which I'm going to share with you right now. Kind of long, but I think it's going to be worth your time to listen and see how much of what he's talking about you can identify with, for your own self. Okay? Let me quote here. Dear friends, we have sold our home and will leave Grenada in a few days. So, it is time to say goodbye. I thank many of you for your friendship, the time we spent together, and many inspiring discussions. I'm also thankful for help received so often to solve problems and overcome obstacles. We came to the Caribbean in 2001, 2002, aboard our sailing yacht, Seven Seas, as a stopover on our 6-year circumnavigation. We looked out for a nice place in the sun from the BVI's to Grenada and purchased land in Egmont. After completing our long-distance sailing, we came back and built the house. Once we had settled down, I closely watched and analyzed the situation here. The problem areas were evident, could be defined and quantified. However, I did not see actions to resolve them, despite well-formulated strategy papers generated in abundance. I had the illusion that with my long and broad business experience, I could be of assistance to help improve the economic situation of the nation. What a misjudgment. During those 10+ years, many countries and many hundreds of millions of people have made substantial economic progress. The number of countries with consecutive 6+% year-on-year growth rates is impressive. The people of those countries are feeling they are better off than they were years before. Some are in the same 12-degree north climate zone as Grenada is. Not so in Grenada and the entire Caribbean. At least, I do not see it. Backbones for economic development are in the same desolate condition, or even worse. Roads are as bad as they were 10 years ago, or worse. The number of accidents is rising. Some blue-eyed people say the increased number of cars on the road is an indication of increased wealth. I doubt it. I believe it is only the mirror image of demographics. Those directly imported second-hand cars are mostly not properly maintained because of the lack of funds. Not an indication of increased wealth. Just about everything falling under ICT is a disappointment and severely restricts economic development. The service level of the ICT providers does not nearly meet the international level. Do not even think of Industry 4.0. While other countries will develop and use it and achieve growth, Grenada does not even have the infrastructure for it. Electricity has become slightly more reliable over the years. Damaged equipment in my house due to voltage peaks is less frequent than before. Grenelec might have done even more, but I do not blame them. The company is being bullied by the government on a fabricated issue. Every businessman or entity is holding back with investment because of such a hostile environment. Banking services are a fundamental pillar of a well-functioning economy. What I see today is more or less what I saw 10 years ago. This fact alone is a disaster. The same long lines at the counters. Banks seem to be proud of their basic e-banking solutions. I say they should be ashamed. The way we do money transfers is decades old in comparison to up-to-date solutions. Local banks are stealing hours of our productive time every month, while the government is lazily watching this. Where local banks stand out is in bureaucracy. The world's banks follow FATCA rules, same rules for all countries. The way local banks handle these rules is a massive exaggeration. Again, lowering productivity of the economy. I'm very concerned regarding the NIS, National Insurance Scheme. The yearly performance on the fund is average at best. The minimal opening to the international market, and for example, a minor investment in equity, is too little, too late. There is no annual report 2013 and no report 2017. A combined report 2013 and 2014 confirms indebtedness of the government year-end 2015 of $178 million EC dollars. That's equal to about 20% of the fund. What's wrong with this organization? It is outright dangerous to lend entrusted money, future pension income, to a government with a Standard & Poor's rating of SD, selective default, with little prospect of recovery. I am shocked that a government has the impertinence to use the pension fund of its people as a lender of last resort. The health sector is, in itself, reason enough for us to leave the country. We're not the only ones. Many Grenadian expats do not return after retirement because of this. I do not see improvement in health care for reasons, I think, I need not describe. Everybody knows them. It is tragic. We brought in urgently needed medication at the height of the chikungunya epidemic. The value was around $250,000 EC dollars. All new material in its original packaging on pallets. When the permanent secretary saw a table and chairs in the container, she begged to get it for her use, her own use. The minister did not even give me a phone call to say thanks. There have been other most unpleasant circumstances which caused us and other people to stop bringing and donating medical supplies to the island. A long practice of frequent shipments with hospital equipment and medication came to an end because of the frustration caused by the ministry. Tourism is a cluster risk. It is pushed far too much in comparison to other industry sectors. The level of hospitality would need significant improvement to match world-class standards. Luckily, flight times from and to the United States are short enough to attract those guests. One tsunami or airplane accident can ruin the sector for years. The GIDC, a substantial organization, is here to help potential investors establish business activities in Grenada. But why is it not generating visible results? It is not because of the leadership of the GIDC. The problem is, or airplane accident ministries. They are marginalizing and neglecting the GIDC. I presented a 40-page business case for a $12 million investment in agriculture to the GIDC. It took them 6 weeks before the PS finally agreed to a meeting, and they failed to arrange a meeting with the minister. But in the same time frame, the PM made fun of Grenada's low rating in the Ease of Doing Business Index in his budget speech. The rating dropped even further the following year. Unfortunately, the GCIC, Chamber of Industry and Commerce, became unimportant over the last few years. What is left is a relay station which sends out messages to inform the public about seminars, etc., conducted by other people, and cricket games. Those of you who know me well are aware of many initiatives I took to bring some improvement. Let me mention a few. Just about every daily problem has been blamed on bad or a lack of attitude in 2010, 2011. Public and private sector people were of the same opinion, and a major change was widely desired. I took the initiative after consulting the then Prime Minister and identified the most experienced consulting company for change management, BCG, the Boston Consulting Group. Their list of successful worldwide reference projects was impressive. Thanks to my efforts, their #1 practice, Leader for Change Management, came to Grenada to do an in-depth survey over several weeks and submitted a proposal in October 2011. I convinced them to do it free of charge. And they also paid for their flight tickets. Then the government did not even seriously look into the proposal. I'm of the firm opinion that this mistake, this neglect, was a capital mistake. The underlying problem is still the same today and will be tomorrow. Several success initiatives are needed to allow the private sector to flourish and grow. I mentioned the deficient quality of infrastructure before, a serious obstacle. Another one is the exact business environment, especially to attract new companies. To define specialized economic zones is a worldwide, well-established practice for this purpose. I visited, as an invited guest, over 100 companies in special economic zones in various countries. They're tailor-made to specific requirements. In a detailed paper, I described what a special zone would look like in Grenada. The idea was discussed in several meetings with the PS and staff in the Ministry of Finance. Some months later, I saw the law, which was approved by Parliament. The wording could not be more stupid. The people writing the law had no clue of the matter. I was never consulted by them. Needless to say, the special zone never came to life. The biggest failure was my attempt to put abandoned cocoa land into use again. My partner was a highly reputable biologist with an exceptional track record of successful international projects in agriculture. The various meetings with ministers all followed the same script. They were late. And even though they already had documentation, they attended these meetings unprepared. They did not display interest. They made no clear statements and said goodbye with lip service, or even less. After 2.5 years into our effort, the PS proposed a memorandum of understanding, which we signed. To this day, the PS has not accepted any of my phone calls nor answered any of my emails. Grenada is the only country in the world with a monopoly situation for the export of cocoa and nutmeg. All other cocoa or nutmeg growing countries have long liberalized and prospered. The quantity of cocoa here is about 1/5 of what it was years before Ivan. The quality is questionable. I took samples given to me by the GCA to chocolate manufacturers for quality analysis. They failed in both cases. In the meantime, prices paid to the farmers have been reduced, and witch's broom is spreading on the island. Farmers are complaining and lacking support. This very association refused to give us a license to let us operate as a company, grow cocoa on abandoned, unused land, and employ an estimated 300 people in permanent jobs. The chairman of the GCA, a pastor, sat with me at a table, looked into my eyes, and said, "Peter, by my reputation, you will get the license." The next thing he did was to sign a harsh letter stating the association's legal position to be the only organization exporting cocoa. The victims are the farmers and many unemployed people who could have a job and secure income a long time ago. The jobs are now in Guatemala. Why is nobody upset in this country? I'm writing this history because it displays good, real-life examples of why Grenada is stagnating, or even more likely, on a downward path. I'm aware of published growth figures, those from the government and the lower ones from the IMF. Maybe they're even true. Fact is, 90% of the people do not benefit. If there is some growth, it is concentrated in the South and for a few privileged people. The economy is significantly below its potential and neither diversified nor robust. A government with a plan to bring the country forward would look and act differently. In summary, I have given up hope for better conditions in Grenada. I have seen progress and positive development only in situations where we supported individuals directly. I'm thankful for having met interesting people who became real friends. We had many good discussions while having dinner at our home. I started to learn golf in Grenada. I played with the same instructor, caddy, partner for all these years. Thank you for the company, and thanks to the golf club. Every Saturday afternoon was also a highlight, hashing. Sincere thanks to all of the organizers. They do an amazing job in setting up the trails each and every Saturday. If there is one thing I'll miss, it will be the hashes. In leaving, I have no bad feelings because of all the disappointments. I wanted a place in a warm climate, and I found it. Would I do it again? The answer is no. If you, a recipient of this message, visit my home country, let me know, and we will meet. I will appreciate every email. No reason to lose contact. I wish all of you the best possible in this real world. Sincerely, Peter Grenada. Huh. Yeah. What more can I say? Actually, I think I've already said enough. So just let me share some of the response I'm seeing here on social media this morning. Joyce E. Smith says, "Oh my God." Huh. Kipling Francis says, "For anyone who is thinking that this gentleman is bad-mouthing our country, think again. Speaking the truth, no matter how bad it sounds, is not bad talking. It is just revealing the plain old truth, and that should be welcome, not just with the airs like we often do." So says Kipling. Chester, hello Ches, good to see you. Ches says, "Good morning. I'm so sad to see my friend Peter and Ursula," that's his wife, "leave Grenada. We worked so hard to help Grenada. This man and his wife always helped. I was in the middle of it, Mr. Grant, as you know. Sad, sad, sad. My heart is heavy." So says Chester. And hello, Andy Smart. We are honored to have you around here this morning, guy. Andy says, "A very, very sad indictment on our decision makers who seem oblivious about what is needed to develop human capacity and productivity." So, those are just some of the comments out there. He also says here, George, that letter has affected me a lot. And he's a Trinidadian. I don't know where he is right now, but he spent a lot of years here and was very, very helpful to me over the years. Would be good to see you again, fella. Not just on social media, but in person. Well, let's see here now. John says, the truth is a bitter pill to swallow, but must be swallowed and digested. Ain't that the truth, John? It's hard to take, hard to take. Cassandra Mitchell says, I'm lost for words, but not surprised. The future looks bleak for us, young people. I wouldn't really give up. I know it looks bleak. But you know what? I'm going to be one hell of a bugger and keep on fighting to my last breath. We can't give up. No. Donna Joseph says, is all I can say. Yeah, Donna. Disheartening, isn't it? Disheartening. Glenn Andrew Mark says, not a good name for us. And that's true. You know, people are looking at this. And then you turn on the GIS report and you see all the rhetoric. No wonder you guys have such a laugh when I play this thing. But I will continue to play it. I will. Because I want the people of this country to see what government is supposedly doing. Okay? And you guys, keep your eyes wide open. And when you catch them, point it out. But be fair. Because when you see them doing something good, I expect you to wave your flag just as high as you do when you catch them buggering up things. Be fair. Be fair. Now, we're supposed to have Valerie this morning. I sent her the invitation to join us. I haven't seen her. So I'm not sure whether she's going to be with us or not. Haven't heard from her. But I'll tell you what, we're going to take a little break here, and we'll get right into your favorite, the National Report.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Co-op Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Folks, there's a note here from Vincent Ignatius Roberts. He says, Grenadians don't care about 300 quality jobs or improvements in management when they can get some debushing jobs. Shameful, isn't it? Shameful, Vincent. But by and large, my friend, it's the truth. The government will say it's a lie, and their sheeple will continue to follow blindly. He goes on to say, I knew Mr. Grenada and spoke with him about his efforts. I know that what he said is true. Well, Vincent, I worked with this man for the better part of 5 years. And like I said, this is the man who actually sat and took the time to learn what I was trying to do for my country and helped to make Chime a reality. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. We're doing good. Let the progress continue. Okie doke. Here comes your national report.
Government makes CBI program more attractive to investors. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Friday, March 8th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. The government of Grenada is taking steps to make its Citizens by Investment CBI program more attractive to investors by offering a greater range of benefits. Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, on Friday presented a bill in the House of Representatives for the Grenada Citizenship by Investment Amendment Act 2019. The amendments expand the definition of dependents as it relates to CBI applications to include parents and grandparents who are below the age of 55, unmarried siblings of the main applicant and spouse, as well as children born within 12 months of the granting of citizenship. The amendments also remove the requirements for dependent children between the ages of 18 and 30 to be enrolled at an institution of higher learning and for parents or grandparents over 55 years to be fully supported. Another amendment provides for the removal of permanent residence as a prerequisite for citizenship. The amended Grenada Citizenship by Investment Act also provides for secondary purchasers of CBI units in approved projects to acquire citizenship. In tabling the amendments, Minister Joseph said the intention is to make Grenada's CBI program more attractive and to offer greater value for money to investors.
This program is adopted by many more countries around the world since 2013 when it was first introduced. You could look at what is happening in the Caribbean. In the OECS, you have Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, Antigua, St. Kitts. And therefore the market is becoming very competitive. And the need to review and make amendment to the original bill is always on us to examine.
Standing in support of the bill to amend the Grenada Citizenship by Investment Act, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, underscored the importance of the CBI program, but also affirmed that Grenada will not compromise on security.
We don't have to compromise. Remember, I made a point. The next thing you hear that we might see, they want to compromise on security. Well, they will be alone, and we won't get business before we compromise on security, because compromise on security, Mr. Speaker, is penny wise, pound foolish. Because you compromise on security, you have to be right on every one that comes. Just one bad one come true. We're dead, you know. So we can't compromise. Who wants to go and compromise? The only unfortunate thing, as I always tell my colleagues, what worries me is that if Grenada does something foolish and cause a major problem in security in Grenada, they don't say Grenada, you know, the Caribbean. So I'm concerned when any of my colleagues do anything that appear to be lax and cause us to have problems, all of us get washed with the same brush. And that is that we can't compromise.
Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Honourable Peter David, who also stood in support of the amendments, said the CBI program must be continuously reviewed to ensure that it remains competitive.
I have argued, and I continue to argue, that we should use our transformation fund to do some very transformative projects. And I'm pleased to announce that the Cabinet has been intensely discussing transformational projects that we can use the fund for. Transformation projects in IT, transformation projects for youth development. The CBI program is extremely important for that, and the Prime Minister has been pushing us to do that. I believe, for example, and I'm going to try to sell my project, that a project like the public library will be a good project to be financed by the CBI Transformation Fund, because it's important. Plus, it will let the people know the importance of the program by doing something that has visible impact on our people.
Grenada offers two options under its CBI program. One option requires a contribution of $250,000 to the National Transformation Fund, while the second option provides for real estate investments of $350,000 and a contribution of $50,000 to the National Transformation Fund. The Lower House of Parliament has paved the way for the Grenada Medical and Dental Council to accredit programs to prepare students to receive medical doctor degrees. The House passed the Health Practitioners Amendment Act 2019 on Friday. The bill was brought before the House by Health Minister the Honourable Nicholas Steele, who said the Medical and Dental Council will be responsible for evaluating, accrediting and monitoring medical doctor degree programs in Grenada.
I think it's necessary to say, to give a level of comfort to anyone out there who may have concerns, that this additional layer does not affect or jeopardize any of the other processes. In fact, you will see certain consideration is being made in this bill to ensure that it does not stop or does not circumvent the authority of CAMHCP or any of the other entities that SGU or, in the future, any other institution may seek. It does allow us, however, to be able to say that there is a national accreditation, as opposed to, in the past, all we have had is a regional accreditation that we as a nation recognized. So I expect, and in our preliminary discussions, the Medical and Dental Council will be working very closely, hand in hand with CAMHCP. And the objective is, in some instances, to make sure that they don't double up on the work of supervision, visits, etc.
Education Minister, the Honourable Emmeline Pierre, threw her support behind the bill. She says it can only be to Grenada's advantage, since it will result in significant benefits to this country's education sector.
We are convinced that they do have the capacity, they do have what it takes to accomplish what it is that we are seeking to do. Mr. Speaker, furthermore, this council would say that a particular doctor is good enough to perform within the state of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique, to serve our people, to provide service at our medical hospitals, at our clinics, in the state of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Now, to be able to do this well, Mr. Speaker, I think it would be an advantage to be able to monitor a school where that particular doctor comes from. So while, yes, some of them come from institutions outside of Grenada, I believe it's an advantage to us if they perform this added role for the Grenadian doctors turning out from St. George's University and serving locally.
Continuing the news, women have been charged to take action to increase their participation in non-traditional jobs to achieve equality in 2019 and beyond. This resonated throughout the commemoration of International Women's Day at the Sir Eric Gairy Botanical Gardens on Friday. The 2019 commemoration was held under the theme, Think Equal, Build Smart, Innovate for Change. Social Development Minister, the Honorable Delma Thomas, encouraged women and girls to take a stand for their rights on the job, in the classrooms, and for any issue that is pertinent to their growth and development.
It is our hope that the dialogue will lead to actions that result in substantive changes for the economic empowerment of women. The focus is quite timely and necessary. Few women are provided paid labor in technical areas that are in the growing sector of the economy. For example, the environment and climate change, energy, construction, culture, and the arts. However, there are many emerging opportunities in science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics, which women and girls in Grenada must be prepared to access.
And former Social Development Minister Senator Glenys Roberts highlighted that gender equality is good for the Grenadian economy. She encouraged the women gathered to build on the successes of past and current parliamentarians and activists to achieve more for women in the future.
Attaining gender equity is not a zero-sum game. In a society where full gender equality exists, the only people who lose are the few ones who benefit from taking unfair advantage of vulnerable people. The whole nation, all of Grenada, benefits when the rights and dignity of women are recognized and respected. It goes without saying that gender equity is good for women, but it is also good for our economy. It is good for the private and public sectors. It is good for children and families. And yes, it is good for men too. It makes us a stronger people and a nation. But more than all of that, it is the morally right thing to do.
The Ministry of Social Development recognized and awarded two long-standing employees, Mrs. Claudia Mark Benjamin and Mrs. Angela Humphrey Lewis, for their service and contribution toward gender equality. There was also cultural performances, poems and exhibitions to display the role women play in society and the importance of advocating for gender equality. And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Wow, 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 wow. There you, there you have it. There you have it. Pedro, just let me say this. You have a warped sense of humor. Peter says here, after the sad news, here comes the good news, the National Report. Yeah, Pedro. Yeah. He goes on to say, our country is slipping out of our hands. Slipping? Maurice Bishop must be turning in his grave. A sad state of affairs, so says Pedro. Joyce E. Smith says, really? The whole family now? Where are they going to put all those people? There would be no space for me and my family if we want to come back. Oh my gosh, Grenada. How much of this does the local people know and understand? after hearing what was just stated. It's scary. Yeah, Joycey. Yeah. Okay. You guys were pretty kind this morning. There is also a note here from Fitzroy Adams. Fitzroy was, I think, referring to the letter that I read earlier on from Peter Gannett, and he says, this is just a way of going forward. Yeah. Okay. Folks, let me take a little break here, and we'll come back.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical, and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners, and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance, and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Spicer.
Redleg, energizing our Grenada.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Folks, even without Valerie this morning, look, we got the full hour. Huh? You guys are good. Listen, as I take a look here at Facebook, I'm seeing somebody I've not seen with us before, Susan Main. Susan, thank you so much for joining us. I'm a little bit sad that you're kind of late because we're just about to pull the curtain down. We get started 9 o'clock every weekday morning. So I do hope that starting tomorrow, you'll be able to join us. And by the way, in the event that you miss us live, 9 to 10, that's always up on the website. In about 5 minutes or so after I sign off here, you'll be up on Facebook. You can go on back, take a look. And then, within the hour, you should also be up on YouTube. So thank you so much. I'm honored that you have joined us this morning. Eric Winsborough, I'm also seeing you there this morning. Kind of quiet, but Cheryl Khalees Theg is also with us this morning. Good to see you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for chiming in. I'm also seeing an Allison George here, and I'm wondering if that's the Allison George who is just across the street here from me. I don't know. Joycey Smith says, any news from Mr. Charles concerning the traffic? Ha! Good question, Joycey. I haven't heard a beep from this man. Those of you who saw that program, remember the promises that were made? Let me get on the blower after we're through here this morning. Jennifer Myers says, hey George, good morning. I missed the show this morning. Have a blessed day. Well, Jennifer, you really haven't missed the program because you can go on back, take a look in the archives, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook. Bernard Gilbert's also saying good morning. I think that's it for the time being. Folks, parting word. I'm going to say something to cheer you up, give you some hope, little encouragement. This reading comes to you from the book of Mark, Mark chapter 11, 22 to 25, which says, "Have faith in God," Jesus answered. "Truly, I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go, throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in their heart, but believe that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins." Mark chapter 11, 22 to 25. Cheryl Khalees Thick. Hello, Cheryl. Cheryl says, one of my favorite scriptures, Mark 11. Hey, girl, we're on the same wavelength. That's good. Maybe you can share some of your scriptures with me. Right, that you can do it on Facebook, or you can send me a note on Grenada Broadcast, info@Grenada Broadcast, through the website. Would be really, really happy to hear from you. And then she says, "Amen, George Grant." Thank you so much, Cheryl. Pilgrims, I'm going to hightail it out of here with thanks. Always so nice to see you guys every morning, and girls. And I hope you'll be able to make it again tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Hold on. Susan Main says, "Computer giving trouble. Just now able to comment. Happy for the inside story you always give." Oh, Susans, I am so honored. You got to come on back and see us again, Susan is somebody who's doing an incredible amount here in Grenada for the local art community. Trying to hold this art community together. We don't have a large art community, but the little that we have, she's busting her chops trying to make it happen. Give her any support you guys can, and we'll get her back here to talk with us in the not too distant future. Joycey says, "Amen." On that note, Georgie Porgy's out of here. God bless you, folks. So long.